Now, what's happening at Bradley International Airport? Why do we so often have to take a connecting flight to get to our destinations, and why do these flights tend to cost more?
Our next guest knows a lot about those challenges. He is Kevin Dillon, the Executive Director of Connecticut's brand new Airport Authority. Kevin, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm curious, so aside from profit, I would guess, what makes an airport successful? Like, what's the definition of a successful airport? And is Bradley one of them?
Well, really, an airport tries to balance the needs of providing the transportation services that the folks in the region it serves need. But it's also an economic generator. I mean, one of the primary missions we have at Bradley Airport is to spur and serve as a catalyst for the economic growth in the area.
Is that working here?
I think it is. I think, one of the things that I've been impressed with in the very short time that I've been here at the airport is that the political community, the business community have all come together to support this airport. That's very rare. You don't see that often. So I think there's some good successes that have been achieved already, and I think there's going to be a lot of successes in the future.
All right, what are you going to do to answer the questions I posed in the lead-in here?
Sure.
Why we so often have to take a connecting flight to get anywhere, especially to get to the West Coast, and why do the flights out of Bradley tend to cost more?
Well, I'll deal with the latter point first. I think it's kind of misleading. I think the flights here at Bradley are very competitive. I think on any given day you can find a lower fare at Bradley, and some days you can find a lower fare at Logan. But when you look at the average cost of fares, you also have to look at the average distance that people are traveling. Here, some of the fares out of Logan, out of Bradley, for example, travel a further distance than an airport, for example, in White Plains. So you have to factor that in as well. But really what we're after is to stir competition, because competition is what brings the fare levels down, and competition can lead to those long-haul flights that you're looking for to avoid those connecting flights.
All right, so what are you doing, or what have you decided to do immediately to try to get more airlines to come here and offer more service and get this competition going?
Well, the Connecticut Airport Authority has reached out to the local business community. We've been able to get a lot of good information from local businesses about the markets that they need and what is their travel budget that they're willing to spend on travel out of Bradley. That's invaluable information to share with the airlines, and I think we're out recruiting to the airlines right now, sharing that information and trying to convince them that there's a very healthy market here at Bradley to serve.
So does that mean you study which are the most traveled routes out of Bradley and say, okay, we're going to zone in on those?
Absolutely. I mean, naturally, we want to provide the services that people are going to use. For example, we are targeting nonstop Los Angeles service out of Bradley.
People would love that.
That is a very desired market. We know that.
Delta had been doing that.
Absolutely. Also, San Francisco is a top target of ours as well.
There's no nonstop to the West Coast, right?
There isn't right now, but we hope to achieve that.
I think the only nonstop might be Southwest going to Las Vegas, but that's not the West Coast quite. But
that's correct.
It's close.
That's correct.
You still got to take a connecting flight.
Sure.
One of the common things that people talk about, because they've seen it at other airports, is a cell phone waiting area. Is that in the plan for Bradley?
Well, it's something that I'm glad you brought up, because today our board just voted to move forward with a cell phone lot. We're going to be establishing that as a great customer service. It's probably one of the most asked for customer services we have at the airport, so we're very pleased.
Because now the troopers, they have to move you through to keep the lanes open, but then you have to go around and around. You're on a merry-go-round.
Absolutely. Troopers have a tough job. It's tough telling somebody not to do something that they want to do, but we are going to establish the cell phone lot. Hopefully we're going to have it up and running within 30 days.
Now, where's it going to be and how far away is it going to be?
It's going to be located right off of Light Lane Road, adjacent to Route 75. It'll be convenient access to the terminal building. We'll put Trailblazer signs from the terminal so people will be able to find it. And we'll also have maps available for folks to locate the area.
So that'll be going next month, huh?
Absolutely.
And that's land you already own?
Yes, yes, that's property at the airport already.
We've got progress already. Now, what about the rapid transit to get to the airport? With the Springfield to New Haven line and having a spur to get to the airport.
Well, absolutely. All ground transportation modes are something that we want to take a look at to enhance bus service to the airport as well. But certainly I think a rail connection in the future is a real possibility. In fact, I was just at a public hearing for future Terminal B improvements at the airport, and that was repeatedly brought up by a number of people at the hearing. So it is certainly something we want to look into. We want to be competitive with the other airports in the region. As you know, T.F. Green Airport has a rail connection right at the terminal building. We want to provide a high level of service like that as well.
There's been some reticence on some people's part to accept the expansion of Terminal B. I mean, what's the feel that you're getting from the public now about it?
Well, I think, we want to provide first-class quality services at the airport, and that includes facilities as well. Naturally, I think the forecasts at airports across the country have changed, and Bradley is certainly no exception. So I think plans that were out there for the construction of Terminal B are going to be pushed back somewhat. But that's what the Connecticut Airport Authority is looking to do, is to generate the demand for that terminal building so we can bring it online as quickly as possible. But there will still be some enabling projects that we'll be moving forward with, the consolidation of the rental car facilities and possibly some roadway alignment as well.
You're going to build a new garage for that, right? You have to build a whole new garage.
Yes, that's a new structure that we'll be building for that consolidated facility, absolutely.
Wow.
And international flights, I suppose, just like Terminal B, that'll be some distance in the future,
Well,
if at
it's
all?
something that we're working on right now. We got some great information from a number of area businesses that there's an awful lot of money being spent on international travel. So we want to start reaching out to the international carriers right now and sharing that data and convincing them to start that service.
Great. Thanks, Kevin
Thanks a
Dillon,
lot,
for
Kevin.
being with us.
Thank you.
Don't forget, if you missed something here on The Real Story, you can now watch it online by going to ctnow.com. You can also catch us on YouTube.
Thanks for watching this week's edition of The Real Story. We hope to see you here again next Saturday and Sunday.